Thank you for tuning in to the best parenting show on the internet, Post Daily Dose.
It's the Post. It's the Post. It's the Post. The Post Daily Dose. It's the Post. It's the Post. It's the Post. The Post Daily Dose. It's the Post. It's the Post.
Hey, good evening, Facebook family. Welcome to another episode of Post Daily Dose with me, your trusted parenting advisor, faithful guide and servant on the healing journey. What's my name? Big Papa Brian+Post, coming to you from Upper West Side, New York City. Manhattan, I believe. Upper West Side of Manhattan. So you can kind of see the skyline there behind me. It's been a long day, emotional day, stressful day. Anytime you're working in emotion, anytime you're working with people in their pain and in their struggle, it's stressful. And so Big Pop is a little bit wore out this evening, and it's all good though. I have some friends who loaned me their studio apartment to rest in, and it's like on the penthouse floor, and it's beautiful. It used to be a yoga studio, and it's so like all the sun just shines right in, and it's amazing and restorative. And so I'm actually on the balcony outside coming to you guys this evening. Hello there, Faye Post. Hello there, Kirsten. Hope you guys are doing well there in the Netherlands. So what I wanted to talk to you about today is what came up in the work throughout the day today. And it was at one point, the mom, as we were kind of processing some connections between her experience as a child and how that's showing up in her parenting, her modeling of parenting with her 16-year-old, because I was working with a mom and a 16-year-old today, 16-year-old young man, and mom had no idea whether or not he was going to come out. Hey, Stefan. Mom had no idea whether or not he was going to even come out of his room. And I actually came out of his room first thing this morning because she was afraid, because he did not go to sleep till 4 o'clock. And I told her, I said, don't worry about it. I said, because my goal is to spend the first part of the day with her anyway, so there wasn't any pressure from me or any concern from me about whether or not he was going to participate. And so he actually came out of the room first thing this morning. She was in shock, and then a little while later he came out and he wanted to take a shower. He asked if anyone was going to be using the bathroom. I said no, and so he wanted to take a shower, and her jaw hit the ground. She's like, he's taking a shower 2 days in a row now. So in the process, hello there, Diane. Hey, I'm glad you joined us. Glad you could join us. Glad you're here. So in the process of doing this work with mom, and this is something that's happened with a lot of families, over historically, when we work together, or even when they start to gain access to the love-based, trauma-responsive parenting model, it can stir up guilt. So the mom said, how could I ever treat my child this way? I can't believe I ever treated him this way. And just this really deep, heartfelt statement. And so I let her sit with that for just a little bit. And I said, okay, it is fine for you to hold that position. I can't believe I treated my child this way. I said, but you then have to come back to this other side, and you have to acknowledge and you have to honor the way you were treated, because you were simply parenting the way you were parented, and you didn't know any different, but you are trying to do something different now. So you have to come back to the back side of that, and it's okay to have this shame about having parented in a certain way. But then you have to come back and you have to have forgiveness for yourself and all the pain that you went through as a child to lead you to this place now as a parent. And that's a lot of times what parents don't do. That's where they get stuck. You don't show up in your parenting struggle with your child like Father Divine in the middle of Harlem in the 1920s by spontaneous combustion. That's a reference to one of my religious classes in college. There was actually, since I'm close to Harlem, actually, there was a movement in the 20s by a little bald-headed black man. His name was Father Divine, and he told everyone that he appeared via spontaneous combustion in the middle of Harlem. And I think that there are still some followers, believers in the Father Divine movement to this day. But that was, gosh, when I was in college 20 years ago, so maybe they've died off by now. But anyway, you don't just appear on the scene of parenting from spontaneous combustion. You're a byproduct of all your experiences, all your struggle, all your pain. And one of the single biggest challenges, I think I say that word a lot, single biggest. One of the single biggest challenges that parents encounter on their process for creating healing for their children is the struggle to honor their own process. And I mean, it is a struggle. We want to move right into honoring our children, and we want to honor their process, and we want to, create all this magic for our children, but we struggle like hell to honor our own process, our own pain, our own grief, our own anger, our own sadness. Not to make anyone to blame. It's not anyone's fault. It's not, it's not making anyone bad. Some parents who have, just like the mom today, both her parents are deceased. She still struggles with honoring herself. It's not about the mom and dad. It's about honoring your own pain, honoring your own struggle, honoring your own emotional traumas that you've experienced, to allow yourself to open up to a level of freedom. And I said to the mom, and I say this to you guys all the time, you can't take your child somewhere that you're not willing to go. And that's why I stopped long ago just focusing on children in therapy, because I understood it's actually doing them a disservice, and it's doing the parents a disservice. If I don't help you understand through your own process the place that you ultimately want to help your child go, you're not going to be able to you're not going to be able to support your child to go there. So when you can't support your child to go there because you don't have a frame of reference for what you're asking them or for what they're going through, because you haven't done your own work, then it's just going to set you guys up. It's going to set you up for failure. And so I don't want any of you to just be left with feeling like, some way that you may behave towards your child makes you, a bad parent, because it doesn't. We're all doing the best we can with what we have to work with from where we've come from. And so none of us are held, up to this standard, this expectation of perfection, or having made mistakes, or having not done something a certain way. You've got to be able to transcend that, but bigger, you've got to transcend it, and you've got to go back, and you've got to honor what your process was as a child. Because if you show up in this lifetime, in this moment with your child now, and you're like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad about how I treated him, but you can't go back and you can't honor how you were treated, you can't go back and you can't emotionally experience and connect with the way you were treated and what you went through, not to make it anyone's fault, but to honor yourself. This isn't about making it anyone else's fault. This is about honoring yourself, opening up your own pain, opening up your own struggle, opening up your own traumas in your life, so you can have flexibility when it comes to your children, and encouraging them and supporting them and understanding them as they open up to their own process in their own lives. So in the process of doing that and really helping mom make that connection, she was able to relax in that self-flagellation, if you will. Because that self-flagellation, as I explained to her, all that does is create stress. The moment you start feeling bad about the way you've behaved towards your child, yet you won't go, you struggle to go and honor the experiences that you've had, then all it does is create stress, and that stress leads to more shame and more guilt, and then you just create that negative feedback loop all over again, and you're never able to get out of it. You've got to be able to embrace every experience you have with your child, good or bad, and you've got to be able to learn from it, and you've got to be able to grow through it. And when you have the bad ones, and I say this to you guys all the time, the best thing you can do with your child is to go magnificently screw up. Just go make the biggest mistake you can. Yell, scream, act like a lunatic. Do everything you can to be contrary to a love-based approach to working with your children. And then, once that's all said and done, you stop, you slow down, you look at it, you analyze it, and you question yourself, how could I have done something different? And from that perspective, you then grow, and then you learn how to do things different. So don't beat yourself up, because we're all in this experience together. We're all on this journey together. We're all living, loving, learning, doing the best we can. And you've come this far. You show up here on Post Daily Dose every single day. You show up in your child's life every single day. You haven't given up. You're a soldier. You're a soldier for love. That's actually one of my favorite Sade songs, Soldier for Love. You are a soldier for love. You keep fighting. You don't quit. Even when you get discouraged, you go to bed, you sleep on it, you pray on it, you wake up the next day, and you try to do it again. You try to do it better the next time. So Big Papa loves you. God bless you. Hope you've had a fantastic day. I am on my way to Boston tomorrow, so when I hit you guys up tomorrow evening, it'll be from Boston, Massachusetts, baby. All right. You guys have a good evening, and we'll talk to you soon.